Videos by YGOSmurf. Be creative. So in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, there are a lot of uncertainties. Will you win? Will you lose? What's in your opponent's hand? What's on your opponent's field? What's in your hand? What are you going to draw? How's it going to play out? Is that actually a trap card or is it a bluff card? Who knows? This video is to help you kind of assess the threat level and the idea of, is your opponent trying to back row bluff you? Back row bluffing is when you set a card face down along either with nothing or an actual threat in order to scare your opponent to not make a play or to devote resources to your bluff card instead of your actual trap card that will help you. To figure out if your opponent is bluffing, you have to know a couple things. You have to be aware of graveyard, meaning what traps and spells have they already played, what are the common ones, along with what is the threat level associated with the number of back row that they have. The more back row, normally the higher threat level. To help you along with that, I've kind of categorized the threat levels by card numbers. So if they only have one card in their back row, the threat level is low. It's more likely to be a bluff card than an actual helpful card, just because if they only set one helpful card, that one helpful card is easier to play around and devote one resource to get rid of that, and then you know you're free to go open season on them and go all out. But like I said, even if it isn't a bluff card, it's pretty easy to be prepared to play around one back row. 2 to 3 back row are card set. I would say that this threat level is medium. One of those 2 or 3 cards is most likely a bluff, but that means that they are also most likely going to have a card that is going to do something, not a bluff card, basically. The best way to handle this situation is to try and bait out their actual good card by going into a play that isn't necessarily your big play or something that is small that'll lead into your big play. So that way your opponent is enticed to activate their good card at that moment. So then you can ignore the other card and not devote resources to it. The highest threat level is when your opponent has 4 or 5 back row. Like, most of the time it's pretty much guaranteed that all of those cards are actually helpful, because if you're going to set that many cards, most of the time the reason why you're doing that is because you drew all of your most helpful cards at once and there isn't a heavy storm or a giant trinade, so you can just feel comfortable setting all 5 back row and relying on that to keep your steady until you actually draw the combo pieces you need. Sometimes though they will also have bluff cards just to make it more intimidating, but this is definitely the highest threat level, and you will have to be devoting resources and most likely have to be planning on playing around some of the cards. Like I stated previously, it is important when trying to determine if your opponent is back row bluffing or not to keep track of what cards have already been played. So have they played Bottomless Trap Hole? Have they played Torrential Tribute? Have they played Solemn Warning? Have they played Compulsory Evacuation Device? All 4 of those cards are limited to 1, and if they've already used those resources, you don't have to worry about them anymore. So I know this video is short, and if you have any comments or issues with the way I'm explaining it, go ahead and post it in the comments below. I'd love to see your guys' opinions on it. I really hope this helped you guys in determining whether your opponent is bluffing or if you should go for it. All of these ideas and thoughts are obviously from my own personal experience and my situation with back row and when people bluff and when I bluff with back row. So keep that in mind and try not to take these numbers and this description as set in stone, because obviously people play differently than I do. If you have any experiences or opinions on which number is more likely to be a threat and which one is more likely to be a bluff, go ahead and post those in the comments below. I'd like to see how closely my ideas and thoughts are associated to my viewers. You guys are awesome and I would appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts down below, and share this video. Subscribe if you deem me worthy. Have a wonderful day, guys.